We're here today to recognize those communities that have adopted strong, comprehensive smoke-free laws, as well as communities that have added electronic cigarettes to the laws that restrict where electronic cigarettes can be smoked. So we're wanting to acknowledge them for their efforts today. Ceremony to recognize those communities who adopted strong, comprehensive smoke-free ordinances, as well as those communities that added electronic cigarettes to their existing ordinances. On behalf of the Mississippi State Department of Health, Office of Tobacco Control, would you all raise your hand, please? Okay, the Social Science Research Center at Mississippi State University, would you all raise your hand? Yours truly, representing the Partnership for a Healthy Mississippi and the Mississippi Smoke-Free Coalition, which consists of the American Cancer Society, Cancer Action Network, the American Heart Association, the American Lung Association, and over 100 organizations across the state. We applaud you for making your community smoke-free, and we thank you for being here at the Mississippi Municipal League Conference. The focus of the Smoke-Free Coalition is to educate on the harmful effects of secondhand smoke and to promote, advocate for, and encourage the adoption of strong smoke-free ordinances. According to the Surgeon General's report, the scientific evidence is indisputable. Secondhand smoke is not just a mere annoyance. It is a serious health hazard that leads to disease and premature death in children and non-smoking adults. And that report concluded by saying that there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke. And the only way to protect yourself and others is to have a total smoke-free environment. Currently, 28 states and the District of Columbia have adopted strong, comprehensive smoke-free laws protecting workers in public buildings, restaurants, and bars, because no employee should have to be exposed to secondhand smoke to earn a paycheck. So we applaud those states for their efforts. 9 of those states have gone back to amend their ordinances to include restrictions on electronic cigarettes. Unfortunately, Mississippi is not one of those states. Mississippi, as well as 21 other states, have not adopted a comprehensive statewide smoke-free air law. However, because of your efforts, as you can see, we are making tremendous strides in that regard. Several communities have adopted strong ordinances. When we first started this journey many years ago, in 2002, a little town in the Mississippi Delta called Metcalfe adopted the first comprehensive smoke-free ordinance, and at the time it provided protection for only 0.03% of the state's population. However, fast forward 16 years to 2018, now 34% of our state's population is protected by law from secondhand smoke. And it's important that we add electronic cigarettes to these laws because in December of 2016, the Surgeon General released a report that said that electronic cigarettes can contain nicotine and other harmful chemicals such as, including carcinogens that we know can cause cancer in humans and animals. So the fact that several municipalities have gone back to amend their ordinances to include restrictions on e-cigarettes is to be commended, and we will acknowledge those leaders today. And as I stated, you have several states that have adopted laws. Myself, along with members of the Mississippi Smoke-Free Coalition, will continue to advocate for a statewide comprehensive law. But until then, you all are helping us to fill in the gaps on this map, to ensure that we're providing those protections for all of our state citizens by law from secondhand smoke. So I am not going to talk much longer because we have leaders here that have led the efforts back in their communities. I also wanted to mention that Mississippi is being acknowledged nationally for our efforts. For the past several years, we've led the nation in passing the most local smoke-free ordinances. Over the past, I would say, 6 years, we've won first and second place in terms of winning the Smoke-Free Air Challenge Award that is presented by the Americans for Non-Smokers' Rights. Mississippi has won that award for the past 6 years. So your efforts are being recognized not only in this state, but recognized across the nation for being a leader in providing protection from secondhand smoke. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the president of the Mississippi Municipal League, Mayor Childress from Flora. Would you come up? Mayor Childress was one of the early leaders to adopt a comprehensive smoke-free law for his town, and we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule today to be here with us.
Several years ago, we were approached about the idea of a no-smoke zone in our town, and I think we were one of the first small municipalities to actually adopt this. And I can't remember what year, but it's been in the last 16 years. So anyway, it's been good for our community, especially our restaurants and retail, and anywhere there's public activity. It's been good for our community and well accepted. We only had a few people that that didn't like the idea and so forth, but it's really gone over well. And our next move will be for the e-cigarettes. That's our next ordinance. I'm sure that we'll be passing soon. But thank you for what you do. We appreciate everybody, every leader in the state that's taking this challenge on, because some of the public just doesn't like it, but it's worked well. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Childress, for helping to set a precedent. So many other municipalities have followed your lead, one of which is my hometown, the city of Ridgeland. Mayor Gene McGee was an early pioneer in the smoke-free movement. He is a strong public health advocate in this state. Not only does he talk the talk, he walks the walk. If you don't believe me, come and see all the healthy options and experience all the healthy things that he's put in place for his town's citizens. So without further ado, I'd like to present to some, introduce to others, Mayor Gene McGee.
I really need to acknowledge board members that are here. I have 3 here today, and Ken Hurd particularly was very instrumental in getting involvement from someone in the medical profession to help us with our ordinance to pass to become smoke-free. It was interesting when we first started this process because we went through quite an ordeal with some restaurants and some restaurant owners who were not excited about it. But we had some that were excited about it but didn't want to tell their patrons that they were excited about it. They wanted us to do the job. I remember, y'all are probably familiar with Tico's Steakhouse. And never will forget getting a telephone call from him saying, "Now, Mayor, we want you to pass that smoke-free ordinance, but don't tell anybody I said that." So, and I can tell you that the rumors about businesses not doing as well because of establishing an ordinance is not true. We have had many successes and many restaurant owners and patrons who have said they enjoy the fact that they're able to come to the city of Ridgeland and to enjoy eating and doing things without having the secondhand smoke or smoking themselves, which is very exciting. I had another lady tell me that she used to go to a nightclub in Ridgeland, and she'd said she would leave there and go back to Morton on late at night with a headache. And once we did away with the smoking in that thing, she said she could come and enjoy herself, dance, and have a good time, and go home and without a headache. So I thought that was a tremendous benefit. We believe strongly in Ridgeland, and as I said, I have aldermen here that support it, that we should provide our citizens with an opportunity to have a good quality of life. and smoke-free is one of those. Many other opportunities, if you mentioned, are important. But providing a good quality of life for people so that they can enjoy a good lifestyle without having disease, without having all those problems that come with secondhand smoke or smoking, it's very important to us. So it's exciting that we're part of it. We hope that it becomes a statewide thing, and I hope that I can stand here one day and say it's not a problem, that nobody is caring about having a cigarette or smoking or using tobacco anymore. But thank you for all your support.
Let me say this about that. Our state leaders care about this issue. We've spoken with several legislators about this issue, and they all support it. In fact, most of them hail from towns with strong comprehensive ordinances in place. You know what they've told us? To continue the work that you're doing on the local level. It's working. So, at this time, I'd like to introduce the past president of the Mississippi Municipal League and former mayor of Hernando, Chip Johnson. He was also one of the early pioneers in the smoke-free movement.
Thank you, Rhonda. I think we're preaching to the choir today. Everybody in here knows what we're doing and why we're doing it. So instead of just rehashing it all, we all know what we went through to get smoke-free and how there were some people that were mean to us. But we also know that we did the right thing. And what I would want to challenge you all to do today is to use the knowledge you gained from going through that battle of becoming smoke-free or adding the e-cigarettes to your ordinance and mentor another town that's thinking about doing it. Absolutely reach out, use these people like Rhonda to hook you up with a town that's considering it because they need help. It is not easy. All the lies and rumors that are out there, we can refute those because we absolutely know that once we went smoke-free in Hernando and in all your towns, restaurant business didn't dry up, sales tax dollars didn't go down, nobody was harmed, except maybe the cigarette manufacturers, thank God. No business harm comes from adopting a smoke-free policy. Things only get better. I remember we did a study years ago when there were only around 72 cities smoke-free. And you can look at the sales tax dollars. They break them down by categories. Not one of those cities that had gone smoke-free had seen a decline in restaurant sales tax dollars. So it's just a lie. And a lot of people believe it because they've heard it so many times. And while we're trying to help other cities become smoke-free, let's not give up on making this whole state become smoke-free. Let's educate our legislators that a lot of the things they're hearing are not real. Tell them we have the data. Rhonda can get you this data. The data shows that we are going to be more economically prosperous. If we don't even care about people's health, if all we care about is dollars, well, let's give them that argument. We are going to be a more prosperous state and a more prosperous locality if we adopt this. I want to applaud all of you for the work you have done. I spent 12 years as mayor of Hernando, and we did a lot of stuff. I still think the most important thing we did was become smoke-free because every one of you that have done that have saved a life. So congratulations to you and keep doing the good work.
Thank you, Chip, for reminding us of the physical impact in terms of the number of lives saved and the fiscal impact of these laws being in place, and the fact that the laws do not adversely impact municipalities' ability to generate sales tax revenue. We have the data to show for it. In fact, Dr. Robert McMillan with the Social Science Research Center at Mississippi State University and his team, they do all of the surveillance and evaluations of our programs, and he's going to talk about that later. But I'd like to just introduce some of the mayors that are here with us today, including the mayor of Brandon. Mayor, would you please wave your hand? And perhaps there are others that I've not seen, but just would like to acknowledge you at this time. If you would just wave your hand. Okay, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. So I would like to now introduce to you Tiffany Johnson. She's here with Mississippi State Department of Health, Office of Tobacco Control, and it's because of this state agency we're able to do the work that we're doing in communities across the state and educating children and adults alike on not only the harmful effects of secondhand smoke, but just the use of tobacco overall. Tiffany.
As Rhonda stated, I'm Tiffany Johnson with the Office of Tobacco Control, and I cannot stand here and take all the credit for the work that's being done. It's because of the work that you're doing in your community, but most important is because of the work that our coalitions are doing, and we have some of them here today, and I would like for them to stand up, if they will, please. So, these are three of our coalition directors that we have. We fund 34 tobacco-free coalitions throughout the state of Mississippi who serves all 82 counties. For a lot of you that's in the room, you probably have interacted with our coalition directors in some capacity. We would encourage you to continue to work with them, as well as for your neighboring municipalities that's not on this map. Please encourage them to get on this map, because as Rhonda said, we're finally leading the cause in something in Mississippi, and it's something positive with us being first and second place for in the nation for having the most comprehensive ordinance. But this year we received second place, and I would like to see us move back up to first place, and that's going to be done with the help of our coalition, as well as you all talking to other municipalities that's next to you. And then also for the Office of Tobacco Control, we offer a grant program for municipalities that are interested in educating their citizens about the benefits of a smoke-free environment. That grant money goes up to $5,000. So I want to make sure that we let y'all know that. So if it's something that you haven't applied for, you can most definitely tell some of your colleagues about it. Thank you.
Okay, and at this time, I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Robert McMillan. He hails from my university, Mississippi State University, representing the Social Science Research Center. At this time, would you please share with us some of this good news?
Hi, thank you, and thank you. I'm here today as a representative of the Smoke Free Mississippi Coalition, and I want to commend each of you who've passed a smoke-free ordinance or added electronic cigarettes to your ordinance. It's hard work, as the mayors have said in their talks, is that in hindsight it looks like a no-brainer. The sky doesn't fall, taxes stay the same or even increase a little bit. But at the time, I've watched my local board, I've watched it twice, I've watched it in Tupelo, in New Orleans, and several other places. The elected officials take a lot of heat, both publicly and privately, so I really do commend each of you guys for taking on all of this in order to improve the public health and quality of life for the people in this state. One word I want to say, it's been mentioned several times that we are second in passing the most ordinances. Texas beat us the last 2 years, but Texas has a few more municipalities, so I think if you look at percentages, we may actually be better than Texas on that note.
How did the smoke-free ordinance impact businesses? Because there's a feeling that it's going to hurt businesses. How actually did it work out?
Well, it's actually helped businesses. We've had more and more business people tell us, particularly restaurants, how thankful they are that we passed the ordinance. They didn't want to exactly tell their customers not to smoke, so they wanted us to do it. And we have found that there are people that are coming to eat in our restaurants and shop in our stores and be in Ridgeland who are enjoying the fact that it's smoke-free. So it's been a benefit, not a negative at all.
We're here to recognize cities in Mississippi that has passed 100% comprehensive ordinance to protect their citizens from secondhand smoke.
How many new cities do we have?
We have a total of 11 new cities that's going to be awarded today, and we have a total of 148 municipalities across the state that has comprehensive smoke-free ordinances.
Why is this important?
It's important because the health benefit to protect innocent youth as well as adults from secondhand smoke. That's very important to us, but the overall health benefits is what we strive for here in Mississippi, or trying to better Mississippians as a whole.
Tell us about those e-cigarettes and the health dangers that they pose. How do they work, and what dangers are there?
Well, electronic cigarettes, they're pretty new to the market. When I say new, they've come on the market within the last 10 years. According to the Surgeon General's findings, electronic cigarettes can contain nicotine, which we know is the addictive substance in cigarettes, and can contain harmful chemicals such as carcinogens that we know cause cancer in humans and animals.
I've had several family members who die from cancer-related diseases.
Where does Mississippi rank compared to other states when it comes to smoke-free ordinances?
Well, there's 25 states that have a comprehensive statewide smoke-free ordinance, including the District of Columbia. So that leaves about 25 states that do not have a statewide ordinance. And Mississippi has proportionately one of the highest percentages of their population protected at the local level. So we're doing really good at the local level.
What is the key element to protect people from secondhand smoke?
Basically, a comprehensive smoke-free ordinance that protects people in all indoor public places. Because there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke. We know that from the Surgeon General's report. So basically, a comprehensive smoke law is the best way to protect people.
I have a personal issue with the issue of smoking, of several members of my family who currently smoke, and others whom have kicked the habit because of some serious health condition. And because of that, I'm so passionate about this issue to ensure that children are educated about the harmful effects so that they don't ever pick up the habit and have to deal with an addiction that can lead to disease or premature death.
We still have room for improvement. We've got about a third of our population protected by local smoke-free ordinances. I'd like to see the rest of our municipalities start to do this as well, and some action at the state level would also be good.
Good morning.